The gorgeous weather has finally returned. The odd thunderstorm or April shower in May notwithstanding. The evenings are long and the garden inviting. One can sit watching the wee purple violets, the lily of the valley, and the ever-present dandelions, sticking their blooms through the dead leaves and contemplate all that needs to be done. And then just pick up a book and relax. These lovely long days also inspire us to get planning summer vacations, road trips, grandparents to visit, cottages to open, adventures to be had, or just to stay at home and putter about. The change to our daily patterns of vacations represent are important. When you start feeling that life has lapsed into a rut of sameness, doing everything the same way, rise at the same time. Same cereal, same coffee, same toast, same jam. You nod at the same people, catching the same bus and the same elevator and the same wave at the same office folk. Evening repeats the same route, but this time the menu is meat and potatoes and salad, TV with the same news, and to bed. And when you start to feel that surely there has to be more to life than that, no matter how satisfying you find your job and how much you look forward to it as you rise from bed, it is time for a break, a vacation. Maybe you've been talking all year about the grand adventure you're about to embark upon. Tickets purchased, itinerary planned, hotel reservations confirmed. Congratulations! Most of us aren't that well organized. But now is the perfect time to get planning and packing. When I was young, people didn't travel the way they do today. Holidays were spent with relatives. But once, and for only one time I can remember, my family took a vacation. I was 11 years old. We drove to Florida for a 10-day trip. What an adventure! Eating in restaurants and having Southern fried chicken for every dinner. Eating out 3 times a day. Back home, we'd only visit a restaurant maybe twice a year. My biggest memory of that trip was of seeing a chain gang working, cleaning up the side of the road with officers with great big shotguns or rifles guarding them. Dad stopped to have a better look, but the guards immediately charged over and ordered us to move on. My second memory is of a magnificent park where the guides were all ladies dressed in beautiful blue gowns, probably resembling 18th century period pieces, but what did I know? It was all so different. Motel rooms, restaurants, strangers, endless hours in the car, and the ocean. The rest of that trip is long forgotten. I must admit that it did not inspire me to become a world traveler. I was in my late 40s when I made my first trip abroad. But my grandchildren, before they reached their teens, were all comfortable with airport terminals and customs officers and languages they don't understand. I rather envy them. Travel has so much to offer, whatever your reason. For some, it is a relaxation of lying on a beach, knowing that your room is being tidied, your bed made, and dinner offers a menu of tastes with no culinary effort on the traveler's part. For others, it's the adventure of testing their body against the challenges of mountain climbing, kayaking, deep sea diving, or a marathon. For some, it's the peace of a retreat at St. John's, the silence, the contemplation, the services, the simplicity, the companionship of silence, and the beauty of the choir singing as one. There is so much on offer. For the genealogist tracking down those who took on the challenge of a new land, you get to reverse the trip and discover the village and the baptismal registry or wedding date that finally resolves that mystery in your family tree of the village they really did come from. For the foodie, the adventure of new countries and new cuisines, the fancy restaurants and the street peddler, and all the exotic smells, tastes, and textures. Seeing how your own job is done elsewhere can be illuminating. Too often we fall into the habit of thinking we have all the answers. Discovering alternatives can make for a new and exciting agenda for the job to which you return. And then there are staycations, something many of us had when we were younger. We just didn't know it. The terminology hadn't been invented yet. No matter where you live, this is a great alternative, generally far less expensive. No hotel rooms to pay for, some meals at home, and no cars to rent. And when you save money that way, you can add a concert or a football game or indulge in that fancy restaurant that had long tempted you. Best of all, it means you get to explore your city the way you would in others. I can't remember the last time I was in Scarborough or North York or Etobicoke, unless I was heading out of town. But I do know that I could explore faraway cultures using the local transit system. For Asia, there's Koreatown, Chinatown, Little India on Gerrard, which is rapidly evolving into Little Pakistan. Little Jamaica takes us to the Caribbean. You find pockets of Europe in Little Italy, Little Portugal, and Greektown, and all the countries represented in the Roncesvalles area. All the languages of the world are heard on our streets. Places of worship offer their music and customs and services. Women with their faces covered and bodies draped, women in bikinis or less, and everything in between. The stores of the varied communities highlight the tastes and talents of the centuries across the seas. The street parties, the religious processions, the flags, and the sports engage. The music of the streets and the stores and the theaters offer a cacophony of delights. The dinner of a different nation climaxes each day's adventures. In Toronto, it isn't around the world in 80 days. You can do it over a summer vacation, a vacation that changes your hometown into a worldwide experience that can continue with weekend visits year after year. It can also help you choose where you want to go someday. The tastes, the customs, the language already familiar, and then the real thing. Treat your hometown as if you were the tourist. Get the materials that City Hall puts out when trying to attract travelers from afar. Take a hop-on, hop-off tour bus ride. Visit the museums, historical sites, the beaches, stadiums, and the zoo, architecture and parklands, the islands and ravines. Whether here or afar, give your body and soul the opportunity to rest, refresh, and reflect. Get out of that rut. And so I pray, Heavenly Trinity, thank you for the incredible color, variety, and curiosities that you have created for us. The more we see and know and experience, the finer our lives. As we broaden our perspectives, we grow our fellowship with our brothers and sisters, your children everywhere. May we learn to love your world as you love us. So may it be. Amen.